Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the First Parish in Framingham. We are a welcoming congregation, so whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We welcome you here in the meeting house, on YouTube or Zoom, or wherever and whenever you may be watching this service in the future. I'm Jan Miller. I use she, her pronouns. I serve on the Board of Assessors and on the Interim Minister Search Committee, and I'm your worship associate this morning. Be sure to read the announcements in the order of service. There are many activities happening after worship, both here and off-site. Immediately following worship, you're invited to join us for coffee hour in Scott Hall across the courtyard. I believe we have a lovely kickoff for our Keeping the Vibe Alive auction, so join us over there for that. I'd also like to just give a quick update on the interim minister search. So Reverend Aaron will be leaving our church to join another congregation, and so we are in the throes of finding an interim minister with a search committee. We expect that we will have applications from any candidates interested in First Parish on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. So the search committee will be watching for those and then scheduling interviews. It's a very compressed schedule, but by May 22nd or soon following, we hope to have an interim minister hired. So please take a moment now to turn your phones or other devices to their quietest settings. While beeps and buzzes can be distracting, we welcome your human noises like singing and laughter, so please join in. Since 1701, people have gathered as this community to rest or recharge, to be challenged or affirmed. Those people are like you. You belong here. Maybe only for the next hour, but we hope for longer. We are happy to have you with us. I now invite you to take a comfortable breath in and out. Continue to take a few more breaths and begin to release whatever you need to let go of, to be more fully present to yourself, to one another, and to the sacred in this time and place. Now I'd like to call up Veronica Packard to light the chalice this morning. Every Sunday, we light a flame in our special chalice. This act is our way of connecting with the larger Unitarian-Universalist faith while maintaining our individual identity within the sacred tradition of chalice lighting. Once lit, this flaming chalice is a symbol of our unity in diversity and a beacon of hope to the lonely, the oppressed, and the soul searchers. May we all feel the warmth of community in its glow. Thank you, Veronica. And now, please rise in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn, number 347, Gather the Spirit. And please remain standing after to sing our song of affirmation and say our spoken affirmation. Trials
Hello. Good morning. Well, we said good morning already, so I just tried something hello instead. So I'm Michael Packard. I'm a member here and soon to be ministerial intern at the U Church of Nashua, New Hampshire. I use he, him, his pronouns. This is a time in the service that we share the things that which weigh deepest on our hearts, our milestones, our happy and sad occasions. We share them because joy shared is joy expanded, and sorrow shared can feel as though someone is sharing our burden. You can submit your joys and sorrows either online or by writing them down in this book, which is normally at the back of the sanctuary at the beginning or prior to the service. We intersperse into our sharing the song, There Is a Love. We do this so that our joys and sorrow can be held with song, but also so that you might have a song in your heart when you are joyful or sorrowful. I begin with the sorrows of our gathered community. Ben Long is thinking of our beloved choir member, Larry Decker. Jan Miller shares a concern that this week a close young friend's boyfriend was suddenly facing some acute symptoms and has been diagnosed with a highly aggressive form of lymphoma. That has spread to his bone marrow. At 39, he has so much to live for, and we are grasping for hope. We now sing, There Is a Love Holding Me. These are the joys of our gathered community. Vicki writes that she is happy to be retired this week and is looking forward to the next chapter. Tracy Fontaine sends congratulations to Bridget and their classmates at Fuller Middle School for taking silver at the METG festival yesterday. And Carol Lawton continues, if a painting by Rich Lawton appeals to you, please claim it as you leave Scott Hall. So those are still in Scott Hall. Thank you all for your love and support. Diane B. shares the joy of spring, tulip bouquets in the vestibule for taking to honor Larry Decker and his joyful caring for the earth. Came about last week, so I think it's still true. So glad to have, Jace shares a joy. So glad to have found this space after moving to MA. It's made Framingham feel like home. I was a teacher once, but it's been a long time, so my eyes are not acute to every variation of writing, so I apologize if I get anybody's words wrong. Dave Doucette shares a joy celebrating our 36th wedding anniversary on May 6th. I think that's all of them. Let us now sing There's a Love Holding Us. We recognize that not everyone has a community like this one. So we light a candle for them and one final candle for all the joys and sorrows that remain too great to share. We now enter into a time of prayer and contemplation. using these words from Wolf Jacobson, adapted and translated by Robert Hayden. All people are children when they sleep. There's no war in them. They open their hands and they breathe in that quiet rhythm that heaven has given them. They pucker their lips like small children and open their hands halfway. Soldiers, statesmen, servants, and masters, all. The stars stand guard, and a haze veils the sky. A few hours when no one will do anybody harm. If only we could speak to one another then, when our hearts are half-open flowers. Words like golden bees would drift in. God, teach us the language of sleep. Now let us open ourselves into that place of quiet, to the silent prayer of healing, and for the soft, gentle coming of love. Amen, and blessed be. So if you look on our order of service, we have new member ceremony. So I'm going to start us off, but if you're reading, I invite you to come up now. There we have Sarah Morrison-Neal and a member from our board, David Ortmeyer. And then they will call up our new members. So here's our opening words anyways. Imagine I'm Reverend Aaron or a minister saying them. I'm the fill-in today. Being a member of this congregation, which I am, is both simple and complex. It's simple because all that is required is that you commit to the ideals of this congregation and that you sign the membership book. But it's complex because of what signing the membership book means. It means that you have chosen to pursue a spiritual path, following it into the depths of life. It means that you have become part of a liberal religious community that affirms the dignity and value present in all humanity. It means that you have entered into a religious movement with a centuries-long history of enriching our world with the values of freedom, reason, and tolerance. I hope that becoming a member of this congregation will bring you joy, happiness, and fulfillment. It is a wonderful place. Remembering that thing I said earlier about being simple, to commit to the ideals of this congregation is as all congregations are, and made up of human beings who are imperfect. So I also hope that at some point this congregation will disappoint you. Think that you might truly become a member of this congregation when it disappoints you, but then you stay in relationship with it. Our congregational ideals are challenging ideals to live into. In a way, our congregation's ideals are a promise about how we will treat one another. Remember this, human beings are promise-making, promise-keeping, promise-breaking, and promise-renewing creatures.
So at this point, I invite forward Dorothy and Jim Russell and David Rooney. Fellow Unitarian Universalists, we welcome you this morning to a great freedom and an equal responsibility that comes with that freedom. To be a complete member is to enter into the life of the congregation, to live its values, and to support it with your time, your talents, and your treasures. Above all, we are challenged to put conviction to work. In joining this congregation, do you embrace this freedom? Do you rise to this challenge?
Let us rise in body or spirit and say the responsive words. Let us rise in body or spirit and say the responsive words, number 728, that's in the hymnal, back of the hymnal. Blessed are those. I'll read the first bit, and then you guys read the italics, okay? Blessed are those who yearn for deepening more than escape, who are not afraid to grow in spirit. Blessed are those who take seriously the bonds of community, who regularly join in celebration and learning, who come as much to minister as to be ministered unto. Blessed are those who bring their children, who invite their friends to come along to join in fellowship, service, learning, and growth. Blessed are those who support the church and its work by their regular, sustained, and generous giving, and who give of themselves no less than their money. Blessed are those who know that the church is often imperfect, yet rather than harbor feelings of anger or disappointment, bring their concerns and needs to the attention of church leaders. Blessed are those who speak their minds in meetings, who can take and give criticism, and who keep alive the sense of humor. Blessed are those who know that the work of the church is the transformation of society, who have a vision of a beloved community, transcending the present, and who do not shrink from controversy, sacrifice, or change. Blessed are they indeed.
So I present to the congregation our newest members. Welcome them as your fellow journeyers in the life of this sacred space and our undeniable ministry together. Our new members have already signed the membership book, and we honor your membership in our congregation with a gift from the church and good wishes from us all. And please be sure to greet them after the service.
We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done just alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and the mission of this congregation. May we give in love and in hope. And as a note, if you were here for the family service and you gave, or it's your first time here, you may let the plate pass by. we now receive the morning offering.
Today's reading was written by late UU minister and author Marjorie Bowens-Wheatley. Why should we intentionally work for diversity? The responses to this question vary widely. Of course, hard demographic realities suggest much, but for me, beyond any demographic or sociological justification, there is a theological imperative. Affirming the inherent worth and dignity of every human being, for me, means working to create places of worship where all who subscribe to a liberal approach to religion can not only feel welcome, but enter into worship settings that reflect the diverse cultural realities of we the people. Congregations that reflect the pluralism of our society are one step in beginning to transcend the social boundaries that divide us from each other and from all that is, which some of us call God. The task ahead is an arduous one. Indeed, diversity is one of the most challenging tasks we will ever undertake as a religious movement. What we are dealing with is not simply racial and ethnic diversity, but a paradigm shift that is rooted in a commitment to growth in a pluralistic community, as well as readiness for and acceptance of cultural change within our congregations.
It is really high up here. My goodness. May the 4th be with you. Also with you. I am so glad somebody said that. I was going to say, I'm just so tempted to say that all the time, but that's not a UU thing. I was raised Catholic, and perhaps other faith traditions, there's this call and response where the leader, in my case it was the priest, said, "May the Lord be with you," and the congregation said, "And also with you." So I thought it was interesting that "May the Force be with you" was used in Star Wars. It's a nice hook, right? And then today is May the 4th. It's Star Wars Day. Okay, get it? Moving on. So it's Star Wars Day. And for me, Star Wars, the universe has always been part of my life since I was very young. I turned 50 this week, and it's been around pretty much my entire life. So it's been around a while, as have I guess. And it's been my mythology of choice from which to draw wisdom as I left adolescence and became an adult. So I wonder today, does it have some wisdom to teach us about what's going on in our world? Boy, does it ever. Where do I start? Let's consider DEI. It's been attacked lately, right? No more diversity, equity, inclusion anywhere. Why? What's the reason? I think the false narrative is that, oh, well, it doesn't get the most qualified people into office. We know better, though. We know the fact that diversity presents a threat to a power-hungry system that seeks to homogenize its base and demonize those who it considers inferior and not loyal to the system. Less diversity and equity means more centralized control. Less inclusion means more desperation for those who are left out. In Star Wars, we see this play out as well. The Empire consistently shows a general disdain for any diverse species. The officers use pejorative terms when talking to poor or non-human species, and especially anyone who questions or criticizes the Empire. In fact, the Empire itself is intentionally not diverse or inclusive. It's said that the Emperor himself was suspicious of all non-humanoid species. Does that sound familiar? Just change non-human to non-white or non-Aryan, and you can see the inspiration for this mythology doesn't seem so long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away. The Galactic Empire is so relentless and widespreading that an entire galaxy of planets quietly rises up against it. First, in secret, they try to bring back decency, peace, and freedom. And then the rebellion goes public. So in the literary world of Star Wars, which geeks like me have entered, there is actually a Declaration of Rebellion. It's a document that reads a lot like our Declaration of Independence. So here are a couple excerpts from that. It starts off, "We, the beings of the Rebel Alliance." Sounds familiar. And then in it, there's a plan. "In the name and by the authority of free beings of the galaxy, we fight and oppose you, in this case, the Emperor, and your forces, and by any and all means at our disposal. And we refuse any imperial law contrary to the rights of free beings." And it ends, "To make forever free all beings in the galaxy." Sounds like a rebellion I might want to be part of. Now, as someone who has become more familiar with our UU bylaws, I was struck that this declaration has some similarities with our own purposes and covenant, which is our Article 2 of the bylaws of the UUA, Unitarian-Universalist Association. So for example, under justice, we say, "We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression." Under pluralism, we celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. Further, in Article 2, under the section titled Inclusion, it talks more about the barriers that the systems of power, privilege, and oppression create, and that we strive to replace the barriers with circles of solidarity and mutual respect. And just as that Declaration of Rebellion does, we also have a section for freedom of belief. So it kind of sounds like we're building our own Declaration of Rebellion here in Unitarian Universalism, doesn't it? Now, we may not be gearing up for an actual physical conflict, but there's certainly something we are building towards that is in stark contrast to the unjust and the exclusionary realities that many of us face day in and day out. There is a real awakening happening in the world today, an awakening to the depth of how systems of oppression have worked to undermine the power of the people, an awakening to the depth of corruption in government, awakening to the fact that change cannot come from within the system, but from somewhere outside of it. Our association has lifted the voices of those who understand the harsh realities of oppression and prioritized members who are marginalized by those oppressions to lead us into the future. And we are continuing to create and support critical trainings to inform and empower us to build the world we would like to see, and that we, as a people of faith, must do now to make the world we hope for become our future reality. There's a lot to learn, there's a lot to be done, and it's a very big task. But we do need to be out in the world, acting as if our lives depended on it, because for some of us, it does. Our former UUA president, Reverend Susan Frederick Dray, realized this, and she said in 2018, "It is no time for a casual faith." So it's a new member Sunday. If you're a new member, you might be thinking, what have I signed on for here? If you're a visitor or a friend, you might also be thinking, is this change even possible? Or is he just hyperbolizing for effect? But then again, maybe thinking, yeah, let's get to work. Where do we go? What more can we do? If you think that way, I give you much respect. You may already be connected with things that we have going on, but a great place to start within this congregation is Sarah Morrison-Neal, who was up here earlier. She's a great resource. Where else do we go? What else do we need to know? Well, I'll start with that diversity, equity, inclusion I was talking about earlier. Because I think that is where strength lies in humanity. Not in technology or money, but in the loving hearts and the curious minds of everyday humans. And here, First Parish, aren't we fortunate? We have the Diversity and Equity Exploration Team that's doing great work, providing great resources. And seriously, if you want to know more about DEET, just check it out on our website. There's some resources online, but you can also stay current on talks that are happening or workshops. We'll let you know about protests or other events that are organized by DEET. But don't do that now. I still have a little bit left to go in the sermon, so maybe after the after the worship service, I'd say. But why diversity? Why am I talking about diversity among all the things that oppressive systems try to take away? We heard in the reading today from Jan by Margie Bowens-Wheatley, and she says that diversity is one of the most challenging tasks we will ever undertake as a religious movement. Religions have historically been one of the most exclusionary institutions in the world. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. famously said that at 11 a.m. on Sunday morning is the most segregated hour in America. And though that was uttered over 60 years ago, I'm afraid there's still much evidence to support that statement in America today. I might add also that algorithmic social media platforms can rival the exclusionary quality of that as well. But the point I'm trying to make here is that a religious institution is probably one of the last places one might imagine to germinate seeds of diversity. And yet, that is what we as Unitarian-Universalists are trying to do. Though not in traditional ways. You can't germinate seeds of something you don't have in your garden bed. We need to be thinking a little bit outside of our proverbial garden boxes. One of the ways I see that we're doing this as a faith tradition is including the value of pluralism. This is a key factor in our building a new hope for the future of humanity. Because being a pluralistic faith means not just celebrating your own and another's right to worship as you wish. It calls us to engage with one another in meaningful ways. It calls us to embrace our differences with commonalities, as our bylaws state, with love, curiosity, and respect. This means we need to keep learning from one another, here and in the community around us. If you happen to live in Framingham or spend a lot of time here, you know that this is a very diverse community in a wide variety of ways. There's so much to learn from folks here, and they have a lot to learn from us as well. And when we engage with our community, we ought to do it in love, because that is how we get to the heart of it all. It's how we get to the joy, to the justice, to the divinity, to transformation. We become a stronger community by talking together. Our authentic dialogue with minds that are open to learning, hearts that are open to caring, lead to that transformation I talked about. And that results in both a strong community and a personal resilience for each one of us. And is not a strong community something that these times are calling for? Is not a resilient movement exactly what we need to fight what's going on? So I have one last thing to say, and it's from Star Wars. Now I'm going to assume that not everybody knows the core story, so I'm going to give a little background about what this exchange is. So the hero is Luke, and he's a young guy who's learning about Force, which is like the mystical spirit in the stories. And so he's learning from this master who's a small, green, old creature, non-human species, who's teaching him about the Force on this planet that's like a big rainforest. Now, Luke had parked his ship on an area that would seem stable ground, but rains came and it sunk below the water. So Yoda says to him, okay, lift it out. Luke tries and says, I can't, it's too big. And this is Yoda's response. Size matters not. Look at me. Judge me by my size, you? And well, you should not. For my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us, binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. You must feel the Force around you. Here, between you and me, the tree, the rock, everywhere. Yes, even between the land and the ship. The Force. May the Force be with you all, and may our purpose be one. Amen and blessed be. Now rise as you are able, in body or spirit, and we will sing our closing hymn in the Teal hymnal, 1017, Building a New Way. Our path is long but true. Our stories are diverse but long too. May we find common ground, and in our shared stories be found the strength we need to thrive, and the force that keeps us alive. Go now to serve the good in love. Amen.